Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley, your host of Life After an Ego Death. And today is Easter Sunday. We're going to do a sermon, and Torin Bruce Jeffreys is back to give it to us. So thank you so
You,
much.
brother. Thank you, Ashley. It's so good to be back again. We knew there was going to be a part two to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I had said before, I was Thomas in the time of Christ, and it feels very appropriate that on Easter Sunday and the own symbolism of my life that
Mm-hmm.
I tell the world the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I just turned 33 years old back in December.
Oh, wow.
And Yeshua, in a sense, is my
Mm-hmm.
brother. That's a very long conversation, but he's like my spiritual twin. We'll just leave it at that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to continue work that was started long before his time. We all have been paving the way for God in the flesh, but it's not a man, it's a woman. It's always been a woman. So I'm one of the living prophets of the Most High, mouthpiece, an oracle, paving the way for her. And I'm here to tell the world the truth about a lot of things, to do the work of God, not the work of man, to bring the hardened hearts back to themselves, to teach everyone how to walk hand in hand with God again, like we did when we were children.
Mm-hmm.
What we've forgotten is God's loving embrace. And everyone has always said we've always had the thoughts around what if Jesus or God was a bartender? Well, I was a bartender for 14 years, 15 years, somewhere around there. And the irony is very comical. So I feel like it's an appropriate depiction of how God loves us. So if you were to
Mm-hmm.
walk into God's bar of your heart, it's unlike anything that you've ever seen before. No building on the face of this planet at this given moment does it any form of justice. It's beautiful crystalline archways, the most beautiful hues of rose quartz, gold, silver, bronze, and it's colors that you can't even describe from the human eye. Everything is perfect. You walk in, you're greeted, your jacket's hung up immediately. There's not a step is missed. Everything from this restaurant bar is sourced farm to table, the highest organic produce, all of it. You sit down at God's bar and you're given a choice. You can look at a menu of things that the creator already knows you're going to enjoy, but you get to take the pick. Or for those of us that have ventured into the world of craft cocktails and adventure dining, something that's going to be created for you, but there's a level of trust that goes in with that. So if you're given the choice, do you go with what's familiar or do you go with what God's plan is for you? Now, for some of us that we like the familiar, and having worked in a restaurant for oh so long, the comparable would be the older couples that always come in, get the same thing, like burger and fries, the same burger, same fries, several times a week on repeat, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's no variety, and they have no faith in God's kitchen, God's bar, to provide something that will absolutely make their taste buds sing like the angels. And that's okay. God's going to allow them that experience. They can have that, but understand that they have not placed their faith in God. They placed their faith in what they know of this material world. Then there's the adventurous types, the ones that love to go out and throw caution to the winds and have an experience. These are God's favorites, guests. For all you have to do is show up, and God's already got your back. You sit down at the bar, your water glass is immediately filled, cutlery placed on the table, and the first appetizer is already on its way out of the kitchen. But how did you know? Well, let's not forget we're at God's bar, and God is a master of spirits and knows the perfect blend of everything from the material, non-material, from liquid form, how to put it all together, create the perfect product. For you're already sitting in the bar, you're one of God's products. So don't you trust that which created you to give you the ultimate experience?
Mm-hmm.
So it starts there with just the appetizer, the wet your whistle, the first drink that God crafts up for you. And God's not going to ask you for a tip. He wants nothing. All she wants is to see the joy, the smile when you take that first bite, when you take that first sip, the ear to ear grin of, oh, this is what I've longed for. This is what my soul has been thirsting for. Just a taste of what God has to offer. But then you look down the bar and there's the couple enjoying their burgers, but they're not having the same experience. They're not having the songs play in their mouths. They're not being around the joy and laughter and community and communal living of the others at the bar top, of the other guests who have come to have an experience. Again, all are welcome at God's table. So, the more and more that you dine with the Creator, the more and more adventurous it becomes. And those of you who have been in kind of the upper echelons of the world where you have your private dining clubs, eventually, as you get to know God, you'll be invited into the private room. Now, the private room is only reserved for the most faithful, the ones who are willing to walk hand in hand with the Creator, the ones who are always willing to understand that the Creator knows what you need. It knows the experiences that are going to help shape you, that are going to bring you the most joy. But let's remember, we're also at a bar. Things happen. It's not always the best experience. Guests can become unruly. It's the service industry. I'll just leave it at that. We all know how it can be. So yes, there's going to be times where you don't have the most joyous experience, but understand that the Creator, she knows this. But you have to have contrast in life. You have to meet those whom you don't gel with or have less preferred experiences so you can understand and have much more gratitude for the ones that make your heart sing. But they're not separate from one another. They're on the same spectrum. They're connected. For your joy is just the mask of your sorrows removed, and your sorrow is just the mask of your joy removed. One leads to the other. The private room reserved for the most faithful is unlike anything that we can describe in human words. And with what's happening in the world right now, we're all being given the opportunity to accept the invitation to the private dining room. But we have to be willing to try the first taste, the first sip of God, to open up our hearts and allow God back into our lives so that we can enter the private room, the kingdom, because that's where we're all headed. God's trying to lead us home, and that's through the loving grace of her hospitality.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I got chills and I was crying at one point. I really felt that and deep in my bones and in my heart. That was incredible.
Thank you. As I
Just,
said, I'm no more than a mouthpiece that comes straight from source.
mm-hmm,
I'm just honored that this is my journey.
mm-hmm. And me too, and my journey too. And when you talked about opening your heart to allow that unconditional love to fill your entire body, it is so overwhelming. It is so, it's just overflowing. And it's like a well that never runs out of water. It is the abundant source that never runs out of nourishment, of resources. And with that table being in that room, I invited Mary Magdalene and the Virgin Mary to have a fine dining meal with me. And I channeled them while they were with me. And I was crying because of how overwhelming their presence was and all the things that they were telling me of how delightful the meal is and how faithful I am to them. And they were saying, "Don't you see? We have our hand on your life. We are going to bless you in front of everyone." And you're already experiencing these pinch me moments where you can't believe life is this amazing. And like how you were saying, the food, it just makes your taste buds sing. That's what was happening to me. And I was experiencing all of it. And they're like, "This isn't even the beginning. Like, you have no idea what we have in store for you." And as you were saying, like, we are the mouthpiece for the divine. The divine works through us. And we are just here on earth because we need to be that channel in between the realms. And I feel it. And they send me a lot of work to do. And I ask them, please give me the strength to do it, have the capacity to do it. And they always make sure that I'm cared for and that I can always do more than a human can. It is supernatural. It is superhuman. All the amazing things that we're able to do when we have the support of the divine, when we have that strong connection.
Oh, absolutely. Our roots here on earth are heaven's branches to the earth, and our branches to the heaven are in the earth's branches into heaven, if you will. The two are interconnected. That's how it works. It's the nourishment. We get it from both. We get it from the earth and we get it from heaven. That's why we're the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
The whole name of the game, right? If we look at it from the way that our energy flows, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it flows from the heavens into the feminine hemisphere of the brain, and it flows from the earth
Mm-hmm.
into, or from the earth from the into the feminine side of the body, the receptive sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a quite interesting thing in terms of how we all get it, how it all happens. But all we need to know is that regardless of how the connection works, is that it's all going to be okay. God speaks to us in so many different languages in so many different ways. When I say language, I don't just mean that which we talk. I guess I should actually say it's only one language, language of love that
Mm-hmm.
encompasses all forms of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just got to accept the invitation, which we've all always had it. The door's always open. You know, the bar's open 24/7. It's like Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it never closes. You can go whenever you want. You can have whatever you want. No hangover. You
Right.
don't even get drunk. You just haven't. It's just there. Like it's the joy. It's more like elixirs for the heart than it is alcohol for the numbing.
Yeah, it's just pure energy. It's just goodness that is moving through you all the time. And it's an intense energy too. It's amazing.
So it's got an amazing back bar. The spirit list is infinite.
Yeah, it makes you feel infinite and eternal.
It does. Oh, yeah, that's all that wants to move through me today at this moment.
I feel like we can finally exhale. That was a lot. And, you know, it was just let everyone marinate in that and sit with that and let it all go through them. I feel like I'm done too. Thank you so much.
Yep. Oh no, thank you. This was this is an important day. Quite
Hmm.
literally, there's a lot more behind the scenes than just, you know, the resurrection of Christ today. Honestly, in a sense, is a mirror of the resurrection of Christ consciousness,
Hmm.
knowing with what's going on with the astrology and the
Hmm.
energy of this earthly sphere that we inhabit. What's to
Hmm.
come is going to be absolutely beautiful.
Hmm.